What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new what if scenario. So recently, I asked you guys for some what if suggestions, and one that caught my eye was about Future Gohan surviving, since many of you suggested it. I like the idea, but I want to put my own spin on it. Rather than Future Gohan surviving his lone encounter with the androids, I want to completely remove that and go back a little while before that event. Instead of him surviving that, we're going to change the course of events with the inclusion of an important plot point and see how Future Gohan and Trunks could have actually won against the androids, and what would have happened following that. To start out, we'll go back a little bit before Gohan lost his arm to the androids, about a few months prior or so. Him and Trunks are looking for strategies to defeat the androids. Obviously, Trunks doesn't seem like he'll become a Super Saiyan anytime soon. Their training isn't bearing any fruits as it is now, and it needs to be more effective somehow. They can't go into a more brutal form of training though, since they lack Senzu beans that would actually allow them to have more intense training to exploit the Zenkai boost and not worry about getting injured too badly. Gohan is trying to think, and that's when it hits him. The main cause of their problem is that they need Senzu beans, and if it's Senzu beans that they need, why not see if there's a way to get more of them by growing them? Some way, somehow, there has to be. But how will they do that? Korin is dead and they only have a few Senzu beans left, and they don't know how to actually farm them, they don't know the first thing about it. And here's where the big change comes in. Maybe they can try and find the lookout, and see if there's actually anything left there that Korin left behind that could give them some pointers on how to get Senzu beans. Gohan vaguely remembers a place where some of the Z fighters trained in order to prepare for the Saiyans, where some guy named Korin lived alongside Kami, and he remembers that's where they got Senzu beans from back then. Gohan and Trunks end up searching for the lookout, and they are eventually able to find it. So naturally, now that they found it, they decide to fly up to the top and see if there's anything they could find that gives them some pointers on how to farm Senzu beans. On their way up to the top though, they sense something odd, and they see a little area partway up. That thing they sense feels similar to some energy that Gohan sensed a while ago, but he can't really remember whose it is. In this scenario, we're going to add another character who will be vital to the cause, someone you may not expect to be important, but someone who nonetheless is of great value to Gohan and Trunks. It's not a new character or anything, or someone who doesn't belong there, it's someone who canonically was alive during this time. A surviving Z fighter, Future Yajirobe. If you guys remember from Dragon Ball Super, it was revealed that Yajirobe was actually able to survive the androids, thanks to Korin giving him the last Senzu bean. He's somehow lived, canonically, and he's found once again. What's Yajirobe gonna do, you may be asking? Well, let's take a look. Gohan and Trunks enter this part of the tower and look around. Suddenly, Gohan is kicked and caught off guard by someone. The kick didn't really do anything, and Gohan is able to turn around and guard against it, but then has a katana stuck near his face. He then realizes who it is, seeing Yajirobe in front of him, with Yajirobe also recognizing that this man here is Gohan, and that boy over there is Bulma's son. They've both grown a lot since he last saw them, but it has been over a decade, so that's only natural. After they catch up, Yajirobe explains what's happened to him, and how Korin saved his life when the androids attacked. Afterwards, Yajirobe went back into the tower, living there suspecting that the androids wouldn't be able to find him, since the two of them would have thought he was dead and wouldn't have returned to that part of the tower. This is perfect for Gohan and Trunks, and Gohan ends up telling Yajirobe why he came there in the first place. While Yajirobe may not have the expertise of Korin, he likes Gohan's idea and decides to help, since he can play a valuable role but he doesn't need a fight. He might not have any Senzu beans left, but Gohan and Trunks actually do have a few remaining. Since there's not many left, Gohan and Trunks keep a few of them for themselves just in case, and give the rest of them to Yajirobe to see if he could do anything with farming them. Using what he's learned about Senzu bean farming, he will now become a Senzu bean farmer to support the two of them in their fights. While it's not something we've ever seen in canon, it's not outlandish for Yajirobe to become a Senzu bean farmer. Given that he's lived with Korin and is mentored by him, he could know a thing or two about the practice. Alongside that, while we've never seen it in canon, manga, or anime material, Yajirobe actually became a Senzu bean farmer in Dragon Ball Online, one of the video games, so it is something that has happened before, even if it's just in a video game. It gives him something to do, rather than just hiding out all his time, and it will help erase the androids from existence because he's going to be helping Gohan and Trunks. With Yajirobe now reunited with Gohan, he continues farming Senzu beans and supplying Gohan and Trunks with more and more over the coming months. This is great, since now the two of them can do more intense training. This training is a lot more brutal, and allows the two to get some more Zenkais, empowering them even further. They take it slow since there's limited Senzu beans and they can't utilize the brutal training often, but it ends up working very well. The two of them are now leagues stronger than they were before. Trunks hasn't still accessed Super Saiyan, but he's a lot stronger in base, with Gohan being much stronger in both his forms by default. After some time passes, the two of them head out to fight the androids after a few months, and it doesn't really go well. They do a little better, but the encounter ends pretty much the same as when Gohan lost his arm. The androids have a tougher time fighting the two hybrid Saiyans, but they still come out victorious as Gohan and Trunks end up hiding to escape. This time, the two of them also have an extra Senzu Bean, meaning that they're both able to heal fully after this. Gohan's arm gets severely injured this time, but given his greater strength and defense, he doesn't completely lose his arm now. After finding a safe place to escape to, Gohan and Trunks both use a Senzu Bean, getting fully healed and receiving massive Zenkais. Trunks wants to go back to fight the androids right now, but Gohan stops him. It's far too risky to go right now, especially because they don't have Senzu Beans, even with their boosted power. Before they go fight the androids again, they at least need to stock up on some Senzu Beans, and they need to train more, so they retreat for now. This is obviously much better than what originally happened. Not only does Gohan keep his arm, but they both receive immediate Zenkais from this encounter, as well as being able to gauge where their power is in relation to the androids. Plus, Gohan isn't out of commission here like when he lost his arm and needed to heal, so the two of them are able to go back to training right away, well, at least right after they wait for a few more Senzu Beans. They still can do some light training in the meantime. The plant doesn't really grow that quick. It takes a while for each batch to grow, and it's not like there's a lot to come from each harvest. It's Yajirobe after all, and it's not Korin doing the farming. Even with access to Senzu Beans, it's not like they have an infinite amount all the time. They still gotta wait to get some more and more as time goes on. But Yajirobe's doing his best, and he's getting better as it goes along. Even if he were a master like Korin, it's not like it's something that he can make go faster. It's still gonna take a long time each time. After receiving the next batch, they go back to training again, with Gohan now having the main goal of making Trunks turn into a Super Saiyan. He's able to get Trunks close just like he did originally, but Trunks is still having trouble doing it. Gohan instead has to turn to a forceful approach, akin to how Piccolo once trained him, giving Trunks more brutal training even though he doesn't necessarily want to. Trunks will have to channel his anger and his will to survive in order to become a Super Saiyan. They have Senzu Beans to fall back on, so Trunks can survive this intense training even if he gets too injured. Similar to what we saw in the Cell Saga when Goku was training with Gohan to transform, this ends up working. Obviously in this timeline, Gohan never had that time chamber experience, but it's similar to how it was when Gohan was training with Goku in the main timeline to get Super Saiyan, where it also took some force to get Gohan to transform, as well as some emotions. Through the forceful training, Gohan is finally able to get Trunks to transform, and this time he's actually able to hold it for a bit, and has learned to actually use it on command. They're both thrilled at the results, so Gohan heals up Trunks, and they continue training in order for Trunks to learn how to maintain the form better. Not only are the two of them stronger than they were before, but the fact that Trunks has Super Saiyan now is huge. After some time passes, the two of them are much more powerful in their base and Super Saiyan forms. They might not be able to take out both the androids at once, but if they strategize, they can take each out individually. Plus they have Senzu Beans now, meaning they can get healed mid-battle or afterwards. The two of them head out to find the androids, this time with Trunks joining the fight, and they bring a couple Senzu Beans along with them. They lure the androids out and begin to duel. With a plan already in mind and the androids not realizing how powerful they become, they work together first to immobilize 17, so they could work on taking out 18 first. They first work together on blinding 17 with 2 solar flares, and quickly pummel him into the ground, creating a smoke screen around him and burying him in some more rubble. Oh yeah, I should mention in case anyone asked, in the Dragon Ball Super manga, Trunks actually uses the solar flare and says he learned it from Gohan, so it is a technique that both of them apparently knew, and it's a very useful one at that. While 17's vision tries to come back, they can now focus on 18. While the difference isn't a massive amount, 18 is the weaker of the twins, and this makes her an easier target to get rid of first, even if only a little bit. The two of them together are actually powerful enough to match 18's power, and they end up using their perfect synergy and better fighting skill to badly injure her, until they're caught off guard by 17. To deal with this, similar to before, they attempt to now immobilize 18, with that being easier since she's already injured. 17 is angered and he fights the two half Saiyans, and they have more trouble since 17 is stronger, but employ the same methods they did with 18. With their teamwork and by disorienting 17, they end up injuring him more as well. 18 is now back in the fight, with her and 17 both injured, 18 being much worse off than her brother. Gohan and Trunks are a bit tired out and beaten up, so they break out their secret weapon. They brought along 4 Senzu Beans, 2 for the middle of the fight and 2 for after. They each take a Senzu and get back to full strength, much to the shock of the androids. On top of that, they do get a small Zenkai as well, and now they launch their final assault. With their power boost, their combined power is now greater than that of 17, but that doesn't even really matter. Even if they were at the same power as they were before, they were already ahead of the fight. First, they take out 18, completely destroying her. She was already badly injured, and with that small Zenkai they got, combined with a full heal, they make easy work of her. 17 is absolutely enraged from watching his sister die, and attempts to make one last stand, but it's useless. He may have infinite energy, but he's not invincible to attacks, and his injuries only get worse and worse. Through brute force, they're able to defeat him as well, and as the smoke clears, they only see the remains of the twin androids. There's craters all around, one containing pieces of an orange bandana alongside a destroyed gun in its holster, and the other containing nothing but a partially destroyed denim jacket. They don't believe their eyes. Did they actually just win? The two of them celebrate, happy to have won and finally having rid the world of the android menaces. They each take those last 2 Senzu beans and fly off to Capsule Corp to meet Bulma, as well as picking up Yajirobe along the way. They all enjoy a large meal and a party and celebration, no longer having to worry about the androids. During this celebration, Bulma brings up that she's been working on the time machine still, if they ever want to use it when it's done. It's a long shot, but maybe if they went back in time, they could save everyone and no one would have ended up dying. The androids are gone, but all the damage they've done and the people they killed can't be reversed anymore. So maybe they could still go back in time, but is it really worth it? They're victorious here, and maybe if they go back in time in their own timeline, even if they save everyone, it could change the outcome. They still don't know that their kind of time travel doesn't go back in their own timeline, but instead goes back to another timeline. So they think doing this would change the outcome of what just happened. Since they don't know what to do, I'll let you guys decide with the poll. Do Gohan and Trunks decide to go back in time? Or do they decide it's not worth it, and Bulma stops working on the time machine? Be sure to vote on the poll, and comment on what you voted for and why. So what did you guys think of this part? Based on what you voted for, what will happen next? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. And as always, if you liked the video, remember to drop a like, as well as subscribing and hitting the bell icon for notifications about future parts of this What If, or any other videos I make in the future. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.